Hello, everyone. Rare Model Reviews here, and we got ourselves one of the most anticipated unboxings, at least for me. And this is, of course, going to be all from Premium Bandai. So let's not go ahead and delay. Let's open this thing up. Let me show you what's inside. So first, with at least what's less anticipated from me. Don't get me wrong, I still want this. I'm just saying, other thing that's in there, I like more. Not to play favorites, but this is going to be Elpio Pulse Cubile Mark II. So this came out 2016, so 10 years ago. So this is basically just a recolor of Hamon's Cubile from, of course, Zeta Gundam. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is a recolor of the reissue of the Cubile, as right around this time is when they start doing reissues of a lot of the older high grades that time wasn't too kind to. So this thing actually should be much better than the original Cubile that came out back in like 2002 or whenever they made it. Probably 2004 or 5. I think they started doing a lot of Zeta stuff when they did the Zeta Gundam and New Translation movies. But if I get this thing out of one hand, sorry. It's got a bit of a crappy camera angle. Inside here, we have what appears to be two master grade size beam sabers. These are pretty long. Like this has got to be the master grade size. It's a 2004. They usually say like SB on it, but I'm almost positive those are master grade size beam sabers. So that's very curious of them to do that. I'm going to assume that they didn't want to do the small beam sabers because the Cubile, this came out in Zeta Gundam, so it's got to be probably bigger than the usual size 18-meter mobile suits. And of course, this being 2016, they might have still had the real grade size beam sabers at this point in time. I forget when they stopped doing that. It might have been around 2016, ironically. But regardless, we have some polycaps here where my thumb is, some matte black pieces. Looks for the thrusters and some other bits and pieces. And behind it, we have some pink pieces. One of them is where the funnels are housed. Unfortunately, actually, no. Looks like there might be a bit of a peg you put in there to put the funnels in. I can't tell if that's supposed to be the effect of the funnels being in or something that's supposed to go in there. But regardless, we go over to the next. Oh, interesting. Okay, never mind. Okay, now that's really weird. Okay, so we have the real grade size beam sabers here. We have the master grade size beam sabers there. So that's very interesting. I'm going to try to put them next to each other to give a bit of a scale. So you can see the master grade size are a teensy bit bigger. I have the shoulder armors here, the arms. And this is like a more of a glossy black finish, but it looks very good. I'm not sure if it's still this good on camera or not. Then we got what appears to be the final bit of runners here for the shoulders and whatnot, more of that matte black for like the chest and whatnot. So I really like that they did that because it really helps the gloss pop out even more. So we have even more beam saber effects here. These are a couple more real grade size beam effects. So I think I see what's going on here. Since, especially looking at the box, they only have 6 funnels out. I've got about 6 beam effects. I'm pretty sure the Cubile can shoot more than 6 funnels out, but I think they're trying to have you use the real grade beam sabers as like a beam effect for the Cubile. Then they want you to use the actual master grade size for the beam sabers Cubile has. So we have, looks like 8 pink stickers. Not sure where those go. We got 2 stickers here for the eyes. Huh. Yeah, not to mention, yeah, the Cubile doesn't have mono eye. I just realized that. And we have some Xeon crest. I think those are for the shoulders. I'm not sure what the other stickers are going to be for. But again, some more matte pieces for the legs and funnel binders. And then on the other side, I already seen these big hands. Looks like it's going to have multiple different hands. A couple outstretched hands, some holding hands, I imagine, for the beam sabers. A few other bits and pieces to finish this thing off. And then we have the menu itself. Oh, never mind. Ah, there we go. Okay, yeah. This is perfect. This will tell me the date. That'll let me know whether this is from a reissue or not. So we have 2015. There we go. Yep. So this is definitely the reissue then. Yep. So this is a P Bandai version of the reissue of Hamon's Cubile. And as you can see here, this thing. Oh, I didn't know the Cuba is made out of Gundarium. Cool. Okay. So it's got a beam saber slash gun, since the beam sabers come out the wrist, and it can also shoot beams from it, and of course the funnels, a ton of them. Oh no, this thing is 18 meters. They just chose to use the master grade size beam saber for whatever reason. I don't remember the Cuba beam saber being extremely long, so that's an interesting choice. But I guess they didn't want to use the original high grade beam sabers, which I've seen them use in more modern kits here and there. So I don't know what their strike was for that, but anywho. So I'm guessing there's going to be something slightly different with these arms, making the Mark II different from the Mark I. I never was too sure what made the Mark I and II for the Q-Blade different. It might be this. It might be the fact that the Mark II had like this different beam saber effect, which, as you can see here, you kind of like combine them into like this little tri-beam saber deal. So I'm gonna assume that's what makes the Mark II primarily different from the one. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking at here. I almost want to get the high grade normal Q-Blade so compare these things a little better. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking at, but regardless, usually I would put the stuff, the runners and stuff away before I looked at the menu, but you know, I think it's far away enough where I can get this done. So this, of course, was before they start translating everything into English from Japanese. So I'm gonna slowly kind of slide down and look at it. Have the same, of course, an action base. This is definitely something you want to put on an action base. You can't do much with the Q-Blade on the ground. And of course, I have the shot of a beam saber. I'm going to assume that's the master grade size beam saber. It doesn't look too bad in comparison with its body. So, like I said, I guess it just didn't like the little baby OG high grade beam saber. So they opted for the master grade size, and it looked good enough. So they just threw up a yellow one in there. The rest was history. So typical standard for high grades. The last remaining completion of this bad girl here is going to be in color. Looks very good. Looks a bit more 3D too. And again, I guess everything's probably 3D. It's just the fact the color really makes it look more 3D or whatever. I don't know, pop better. So it's being a relatively modern kit. Everything is cleanly laid out, very easy to understand. You know, with this being a reissue, the reissues when they really started to clean up a lot of menus, make them like a joke, to the point that this, you can literally make this your first kit and you'll be able to understand it. See, now I'm looking at this thing. This looks like the exact same construction we were looking at earlier, so I'm really confused as to what was so different about over here that they decided to do a different little insert for it. I get the beam saber part, but I'm like drawing a blank here on what's so different about everything else. It looks the same to me. I'm considering taking that thing back out just to look at it again. Just hold on. This was like around the same construction here around the shoulders. So let me see. I'm looking at this. What's different? Doesn't look too different here. It looks like that's for the head. So it looks like there might be something a little different for the head, maybe, but I'm like struggling here to see what's different. I'll let you guys do the detective work for me, and you can comment down below what's different. I'm gonna pause this, put this away, and then we're gonna look at our next, probably last kit, because that's a master grade. I'm gonna spoil that, so I doubt I'll be able to fit another high grade. All right, so here it is. I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. Here is the big boy, because this is definitely a big kit we got in here. And if you guys didn't get the spoilers, or rather hints, I gave out one of my other unboxing. Here it is now. We got ourselves the master grade Dodge. So this was, if I'm not mistaken, a MSV kit originating, maybe not, I don't remember. All I know is this thing formerly appeared in Unicorn Gundam episode, what was it, like 4, if I'm not mistaken, when these guys assaulted Turntang base, which is a very awesome, memorable scene, by the way. This came out 2019. Oh, wow. Actually, a lot more recent than I thought. Only 7 years old. So, I'm a huge fan of the Dom. It's just something about the Dom. I just really loved how big and exotic this thing looked. So, just about every Dom variant out there, I'm a huge fan of. One of my favorites is the Dryson, which there's a high grade of, but not a master grade. I should definitely consider pick up that high grade. I don't know why I haven't already, but regardless. So one interesting thing about the Dodge here is they didn't just take the OG Dom's frame and add some new pieces over it to make it the Dodge. They actually slightly upgraded the build just a little bit, which inspired them to do the Dom 1.5, as it's basically just the Dodge here, but they used the original Dom's armor over it, or at least a few updated pieces. So this thing is going to be slightly better than the normal Dom, but it's not 2.0 level where they completely reused, or rather redid everything. They reused quite a few things, such as the bazooka. I'm pretty sure this is the OG bazooka, but they added like a peg or something for you to be able to hold in your hand. As you can see, they threw in some 3.0 hands for this thing. Like I said before, it's obviously going to have some extra parts, or new parts rather, to make it the Dodge, because, you know, the Dodge looks a bit different than the Dom, so they couldn't just reuse the Dom and then color it tan. You know, they had to redo some extra parts for it. So this thing is going to, I'm sure, have all this stuff to make the original bazooka, but at the same time, it's going to have some extra bits for, like, for the double-sided axe here. It's going to use a brand new part again for, like, the groove in the hand, so you can put the peg in the hand into it. I'm sorry, the groove in the weapon, so you can put the peg in the hand into it. And you can tell this is like the older parts here, because just how big and like bulbous these wordings are. I'm looking at the back here, you'll probably can see 2002 or something here. Oh, I'm sorry. You probably can't quite make that out, but that says 1999. So like I said, the OG parts here, but with some extra new stuff here to make it a little bit different. All right, you can tell looking at these armor parts here, that's another 1990. These here, these should be 2019. They look almost like it's just, they might say 1999. I can't see those with these big thick leg armors in the way. But there's gonna be something here, of course. I imagine it says 2019. It's just, I'm gonna have to really look in here to find them. But again, very nice color scheme of the Dodge here, the orange and the tan. Very great color choice. Big hands, of course, because again, like I said, the Dodge is a big boy. Okay, so I'm still seeing 1999 stuff here. Jeez. The one thing I could definitely give the original Dom props for is, it honestly, even though it was like one of the first master grades to put out, it honestly wasn't too bad. I think the only big issue with it was like around the feet. I think the parts were a little fragile. The Rakuten bazooka here, the giant soles of the feet there. I want to say that the original did suffer for some issues where the feet would snap off, because it's such a big kit. And as you can see here, it's like being held together by those 4 tiny pegs that definitely could probably be a little bit more protruded. Water slide decal. It's a P Bandai Special. And we got this T frame here. Let me see. Is this one saying that? Oh, there we go. Okay, fine. I'm starting to sweat here. I'm like, okay, something's got to say 2019, right? So if you guys can see that, it says 2019. So I'm not a liar. There are some upgraded parts. It's not the original 1999 release, but with some new tan armor over it or whatever. So the Dodge was enough of a revolution where, even though it's a P Bandai kit, as you can see, it does have an updated manual, and we're at the 14-minute mark. I can't believe I got this long. I think me sitting there trying to compare and contrast that Cube Blade push this over the edge. But it's got a completely brand new manual here in color too. And that's a Dodge here. If I didn't know anything, I said that was some sort of Dom, because that looks a bit different than this Dodge. Maybe it's just the fact that it's got his hand over his head. I can't really see the top of the head and whatnot. But I'm going to put everything in a box away real quick, and then we're going to go ahead and look inside here so we can see what makes the Dodge. All right. So for those of you who may be seeing the Dodge and Unicorn but don't know what the heck it is, it's a Dom variant from all the way back in the 1-year war that was used in more tropical environments, namely deserts, as the color scheme would hint. So this thing basically was just literally just a Dom, but was customized to be able to run in those environments a bit better. Has a lot of cooling and whatnot, so it doesn't overheat, especially with the thermonuclear jet propulsion system it rocks. Allows it to hover above ground. Kind of glazed over with the last page, but there of course are some things that you aren't going to need or rather use for this thing, but I mean, that should be implied with it being not only a pre-Bandai kit, but I'm even mentioning that there's going to be some stuff that they don't use in favor of the updated stuff. Because Bandai usually just takes the OG runners and they add new runners next to it. Rarely do they ever completely scrap a runner to save space or whatever. Usually they don't care about you having unused stuff that either you're just going to end up throwing out or, you know, keeping around. So another part that's definitely brand new is going to be this waist joint that allows it to swivel down. I am almost 100% sure that the OG 1999 Dom would not have had anything like that. These thrusters, I'm pretty sure, are probably from the OG. But like I said before, that's half the reason why there's only a 1.5. It reuses a lot of stuff from the original Dom. And it only really changes a handful of stuff here. I'd be shocked if they did anything to upgrade the legs to make them move a bit better. Although, let's be honest here, you're probably not going to expect something as big as a Dom to bust any splits or move his leg anything more than a 90-degree angle. It's one of the appeals of the Dom. It's a big guy. All it does is slightly hunch down and float around, and let this bazooka do all the work for it. Occasionally, you know, if you're stupid enough to get close to something so huge, you'll end up putting you in the business end of it's either heat stick or, well, okay, heat saber. I swear they call that thing a heat stick. Or the heat tomahawk, the double-ended tomahawk. But I also have this part here. I already know what this is. I haven't built a Dom in Massacre form yet, although I do have the Massacre 1.5 Dom. Just never got around to building it. Don't ask why. I was about to say, this is basically just a swivel trying to get you to hold it in a different angle, whatever in the arm. It's not too fancy. But here is a colored, and I'm pretty sure painted look of the Dodge. Just think this looks amazing. Also, another thing, I'm pretty sure the Dodge showed up in Double Zeta Gundam first. Although it was one of those retcon things, like the Regelgu, I'm pretty sure, where, oh, you didn't see it in the original series, but it was there. It's just Amuro never saw it. Yeah. One of those MSV type of retcon type of deals. Although I don't think the Dodge or the Regelgu were actually MSVs. I think there's something that literally made for Double Zeta Gundam, and then again they placed back in time. But it basically is a MSV kit in that sense that, you know, it was retconned into existence. But enough yapping. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm building the Ulysses right now. I'm like almost done building the mass-produced new Gundam. I can confirm that. But I could definitely say that I really want to build a Massacre doll. That 1.5 doll I ever got to has always been in the back of my mind. So with me just having a Dodge and me just liking the way the Dodge looks, I'm probably going to build this thing right after the Ulysses. And I'll figure out where I go from there. But I said in past videos, I'll say it again here. If you guys seen anything, any of my past unboxings, say something. That definitely influences what I build next. Because otherwise I'll just put my hand over my eyes and start doing any mini mighty mo and build whatever comes next. But like I said, this is next. I want to build this thing so bad. I need a big boy in my my shelf full of Xeon kits, and I choose this. So thank you guys all so much for watching. Sorry, me yapping. I love to yap. What can I say? If you enjoyed this, you know what to do, and I'll see you in the next unboxing and very soon review. I got a PSA I'll make about my boxings, my next unboxing, but this is going on long enough. So again, thank you guys all so much for watching.